Okay, Mr. Durrell, I'm putting that up first because I want to come back to that and end on what I want you to learn off of this here. There's a couple things. Hopefully we'll get there. Trying to be YouTube compliant. Ding, ding, ding. Push subscribe. Hilarious. Okay, let me get to the angular velocity. Hold on to your horses. Okay, now boys and girls, sports fans, aspiring sea motioners, golfers. Again, I refer to this video a lot because it's very high quality. Just forget about all this compass stuff here. Let's move on. Now, to the naked eye there, in the transition starting down the downswing, it almost looks like reverse goat humping. Oh, that's another good angle, sorry. Like I'm not being literal here, but like the butt is moving backwards, pointing out more. It's not what's going on. And this is really what kind of, don't go out and seek ground pressure and stuff like that. That's a big reason why the right foot stays down so long, and a lot of people need this. Yes. Use your, there, see? The hips got lower about an inch. Okay? Then impact release phase, then stand up. Okay? And you can see a little bit of the angular velocity here. It's not the best angle, but proceeding right there. Okay, that's proceeding the pole flip, the angular momentum. Right there. The point, then the reason I'm kind of going here, Mr. Durrell, is you talked about how smooth and fluid Lee and McElgrady are. They hit the ball at tremendously long distances. They're very strong athletes. But beyond that, they make a good swing. And they are focused on accuracy first, for the most part. And they're understanding that, well, most of, or a lot of the speed, I wish somebody would join me in this topic, is in that section of the swing right there. Okay, so it's a misunderstood concept in golf. You make an impact with the ball on the ground. You can't accelerate through the ball. Everything's slowing down. Okay, and I'll formulate a question this way. At what point, well, I just gave it away. Your shaft speed is highest about 12 inches before impact, not impact and not 12 inches past it. The long drive guys know that stuff. So, like, I refer to it like this, kind of, sort of. Most people don't understand that almost all the great putters decelerate a skosh just before impact. Okay? because they're on a pendulum. So let me continue on with this. Now what I want you all guys to start picking up on also, see if I can, right there. Okay. What actually happens is the upper left side, there's no wall. Lee beat that into my head, but you know, say what you mean. The left, especially the left upper quadrant, starts bowing and pulling backward that way as the right side comes through to the finish. So he ends up uncorking about 120 degrees, which was obvious with the camera on top. But let's talk about the angular velocity to momentum. And I need a different video for that. Hang on. Right there. It's already happened. Is there a little bit of uncocking? A skosh. And these employs what's called shaft spring. The Jimmy Ballard term. Rocco Mediate, Curtis Strange, and those guys. They look like they were almost casting it. You don't cast it. But that's some of the dynamics that precede the angular momentum. So that's what I mean by reactionary. Once the pressure has been applied to the club and a downward attack towards the golf ball has initiated, a lot of these Purina looks and poses, they're not poses, it's reactionary. You can't stop it from happening. It's a 7-degree flat club there, so it looks a little different than what you're accustomed to looking at on the finish. There. See? It's more like you're holding on. And that's what, that's why I don't like to talk about club head speed and power. Like I taught Hunter, well, train for it. Then go out and make a good swing. Right here. See when it's up behind his head? There. That club was just flying. And you can tell just by how far the club moves in time and space there. Per frames per second on the camera. See, it's all slowing down. Hold on. You got to put on the brakes. Okay. To continue that out, oh, I got a little Christmas mess going on here. Let me pause. So, I'd like to refer to an old article I read many moons ago, but it's really good. If you're seeking distance of power or whatever, part of what's going on there is that in your subconscious mind and your motor skills has a built-in ideal of how fast you can stop the swing and not have the club fly out of your hands. That is a restriction upon how fast you can go, okay? So it all kind of works backwards and in opposite, in reverse logic, until you break it down. And so, you know, a lot of things in golf and other sports aren't really explainable. Well, no, it's just because the guy understood that crap as a kid. You know what I mean? Didn't have to be taught to him, and they worked with it. So you can't deviate from the hand feel and the wielding of the club. Is most of what's making this stuff happen in the C motion world, okay? Lee stretches himself. He stretches himself. Has a little bit of a arm hand twirl up here, and he goes after it, okay? Most of the time there's a tiny bend of the left arm that straightens out up in this range. That's part of the shaft spring, okay? You may have to train that into you for a while. I spent 99% of my golf life being more like a Hogan look, fairly straight, and there's no effort to pull down, but there's pulling involved, okay? And you keep those hands cocked tight, and it's very hard to do on a consistent basis, okay? Unless you play every day like I used to. That I want you to work through these topics, and you have to find the triggers ahead of time, okay? To me, the right hand is actually fairly soft before I start the swing. And then I'm just directing. Let's forget about the air hole, edge of shaft, top of shaft, sole of the club, hosel, all that crap, and just deliver your right hand. Okay, that's what he's doing. Okay, now here, up in there, okay, that ends up pulling. I'm looking for a better word than pulling. The left side works up and behind you, which, there you go. That's how you get and then the right side comes around. I've described some other more proper terminology of, you know, this muscle in the foot coordinating, or this one and that one. Yeah, that's in there, but that angular velocity is what precedes angular momentum. Okay. Split your hands, and it's very easy to feel. It's an exaggeration. Okay. And you can stretch. Let this thing become reactive, because you've gone through the process of learning how to aim this thing and keep it cocked. That's cocked. See? His club head's always cocked. I've already covered that stuff, but I promised you an explanation. part 2, there it is. Love to hear from you guys.